What's up, guys? Back for another Honkai Star Rail video, and I'm gonna keep it a buck 50 with you. Nah, I'm gonna keep you a whole 1 grand, man. A lot of people are talking about Acheron, and they're saying, oh, Acheron is free to play, Acheron isn't free to play, Acheron's team is free to play, Acheron's team is pay to win, Acheron needs her light cone, Acheron doesn't need her light cone. A lot of back and forth, he said, she said, I'm right, you're wrong kind of stuff, and I'm here to tell you how it is, right? Now, a lot of people are pushing the Acheron is not free to play but agenda, and I agree, right? Acheron, if you are a full-on free-to-play player and you only get Acheron, you can still make her work with a small amount of resources available to you in the in terms of, do you not have a lot of light cones, do you not have a lot of characters, you can still make it work. Now, I'm gonna go over her kit really quickly, just so obviously you guys get a fresh take of how her kit works, and then we will talk about team stuff. I made a team video already. Maybe it's linked in the description, possibly. If not, it might be on a card at the end of the video. I'm not too sure how to do that, so we're gonna figure that out when we get to it. But let's go over Acheron's kit really quickly. So Acheron's kit, I won't go over the basic too long. Her whole point is when she has 9 slash streams, her ultimate can be activated. The ultimate does a bunch of damage. So the whole point of her is get slash stream to 9. When you use her skill, she gets 1 point. And every time a unit inflicts a debuff, you get another point, right? And then pretty much the whole rest of her kit is do a bunch of damage, right? Now, another thing is, with Acheron, right, is if you go down to here, she has the Abyss. When there are 1 or 2 nihility characters other than Acheron and the team, the damage dealt by Acheron's basic attack skill ultimate increases by 115 or 160. The other 2 abilities are when the battle starts, immediately gain 5 points of slash stream, applies 5 seconds Crimson Knot. So that one will help her get her ultimate. The first one is just more damage, right? So pretty much Acheron's whole kit is damage, use your skill, get a stack of Crimson Knot, meaning you want 8 more, and then, more nihility characters. Pretty simple, right? Nihility characters, debuffers, and you're good to go. But another thing with Acheron is the fact that she is a nihility character, right? Since they decided to make her nihility, you don't have a bunch of options on her light cone. If she was a hunt character, you could be like, oh, you can use Yanqings, you can use the free-to-play one from the Herta store, you can use like sword play, you can use Zaylays, you can use whatever, right? There's a bunch of options for a crit rate, crit damage DPS, but on nihility, there's really not, right? There is her own light cone, which increases the wearer's crit damage by 36%. When the wearer hits an enemy target, it inflicts Mirage Fizzle on the enemy, lasting for 1 turn. Each time the wearer attacks, effect only trigger 1 on each target. Wearer deals 24 increased damage, and the damage dealt by the wearer's ultimate increases by 24%. Now, this is very nice. This looks like a hunt light cone, but really, it's nihility, right? The only real option is going to be, I love big white flashes. I really don't know why it does that. For every debuff on the target enemy has, damage dealt by the wearer is increased by 12%, and then when you get it to a 5, it's 24 seconds to 3 times. The effect also applies to Dot. This is Good Night, Sleep Well, the one with Payless sleeping on it. Now, other than this, there's not too much. You can also use Kafka's light cone, I'm pretty sure, but that's not really the most free-to-play option. So if you do not have Good Night and Sleep Well, and you're not going for Acheron's light cone, do note she's going to be doing a lot less damage than you would like. So I recommend that if you are going for Acheron to please, I hope you have at least 1 copy of this thing. It's not going to be doing a ton of damage, but every other light cone is basically not going to be helping out Acheron a little too much. Now, another thing people say is, oh, well, she only has 2 light cones. At least this one's a 4-star. A lot of people have this S5 already. What about her teams, right? Now, Acheron technically doesn't have a best partner, right? I know people are like, oh, well, Don Hang has Sparkle, Jinglu has, arguably Bronya, Kafka has Black Swan, Jinglu also has like Pela, like all this stuff. People are like, oh, these characters have their like best friends already. Acheron, while not having like the perfect unit, which would be a nihility buff unit, she does have some pretty good free to play options. These options, funny enough, I can actually make on my free to play account. Well, not entirely on that account at the moment. Let me tab back into my game really quickly. Now, there was a free 4-star event at one point, right? Unfortunately, I did miss it on this account, so I do not have Pela, but what you would do is, let's just say ratio is Acheron. In this scenario, you'd go Acheron. You could use a sustain unit, which Galagar is going to be free, and he's on Acheron's banner, so you'll probably pull him. He lowers attack, so that is a debuff on his enhanced basic, which you get after you ult. So then you would do, so Galagar, right? Your sustain unit. Then you could bring the Fire MC, because I will have a video up on this tomorrow. Fire MC has taunt, sustain, and has a light cone. The trend of the universal market, if they get hit, they inflict burn, which is another stack. Of course, that is a light cone you have some force, not everyone's gonna have it. You could do that, and then you would bring Pela or Gonifin. Gonifin is currently free in the event that's probably going to end, I think, in less than 24 hours now. I'm actually going to do it after I record this video, so that's why I don't have Gonifin. So Pela, Gonifin, and Galagar are all free. Obviously, if you didn't pick those units, you might not have them, but they're pretty easy to pull as you're playing the game. So right there is a bunch of units who are completely free to play to get. You can pick them. Pela, Gonifin, Galagar, Fire MC. They all work really well with Acheron. Galagar has his issues of you need to ult to get a debuff, but he's still a sustain unit at the end of the day, so that is a big W. So Acheron has plenty of characters who are going to work well with her. So not too sure why a lot of people are just like, oh, well, Acheron wants like, you know, Silver Wolf or Black Swan's really good. Like, yes, they are, but you still have options that'll give you 2 nihility characters, or if you're crazy and you went for E2 and, you know, didn't get a light cone or don't have any other characters, you can still make it work with those characters. So that is something to keep in mind. But other than that, the only real struggle with Acheron is her light cones not giving her stats like crit damage. So you're gonna have to get a bit lucky on the rolls. But Acheron is just such a strong DPS that I really don't think it matters. Honestly, if you're looking to summon and you really like Acheron, the only thing that I would suggest that would hold you back is if you straight up just don't have good night and sleep well. If you're missing this and you can't get the light cone for whatever reason, that is going to be a bit rough, and I recommend that next time you see good night and sleep well on a light cone banner that you summon for it. Do note though, like I said, there's a big jump between Good Night and Sleep Well and her signature, and I can't imagine the difference between not having Good Night and Sleep Well and using one of the other light cones. So do keep that in mind. The damage might not be as insane as you want it to be, but there's nothing wrong with grabbing Acheron now and trying to snipe Good Night and Sleep Well once it returns. If it does return on a pretty good banner, for example, I know Jingyan is out right now, but Jingyan is a good example of a light cone that works on multiple erudition characters. So if Goodnight and Sleep Well is on a banner like that, it would be too bad if you throw like, you know, 3-4 multis trying to get more copies of it. Like I said, it's going to be best at Superimpose 5, but if you have it in general, it's definitely going to beat most of the other Nihility light cones, because all they really do is increase like break effect or increase dot, and she doesn't really get much out of that, especially with the dot one. Like the break effect, you could be like, oh well, when she actually breaks the target's weakness and her ult will always decrease it, you get like more damage, but that's not really her gimmick. This one just works because luckily it is increased damage. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the video. Best of luck if you do summon. Like I said, Acheron is definitely a character you can use if you only have her, but she gets better and better if you get her light cone. So like I said, as long as you have Good Night Sleep Well, you're good to go. If you're going to get her and her light cone, you're good to go. If you have no limited 5-star characters and you only have the 4-star characters, that is a-okay. Summon, summon, summon. Acheron is such a cool character. I'd hate for people to think, oh, I don't have this light cone, or I don't have her light cone, I shouldn't summon. You'll be just fine, right? So let me know if you're going to summon in the comments below. And of course, when Acheron comes out, I'll be testing out myself, and I will be summoning, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. And of course, I'll catch y'all in the next Honkai Star Rail video.